and thank you for taking the time to review this video. This video is a project for the week 6 assignment in Management 615, Strategic Planning, with the course instructor being Dr. George Taylor. So for this project, I focused on a corporate environmental responsibility issue that is very prevalent in the news today, and it's dealing with Volkswagen's installation of software into their diesel vehicles that was basically designed to fool regulators as far as what type of pollutants and how much was being exposed or emitted into the atmosphere. So, as I noted, this is a large scandal that was broken late last year in 2015. Towards the end of the year, Volkswagen finally did come out and admit that they had knowingly installed this software into many of their diesel vehicles, again, to fool regulators into thinking that there was less emissions being put out by their diesel vehicles as opposed to what was really being emitted into the atmosphere. Allegedly, worldwide, there's about 11 million vehicles that were affected by this scandal. As I noted, Volkswagen is a large corporation with a global strategy, and therefore this scandal is very wide-reaching throughout the globe as a whole. Here in the United States, there are roughly 600,000 vehicles that were affected by the scandal, and as you can imagine, when this scandal broke, there were quite a few repercussions initially, and then it kind of died down until just recently, as I'll explain here. But the Volkswagen CEO, Martin Winterkorn, has resigned as CEO of the company. But it didn't just stop with him. There are currently 9 high-level executives that are on suspension from the company, and it's kind of estimated that these individuals will either be terminated from their employment from the company, or they will resign as well, and it all stems from their role in this scandal as well. However, it doesn't stop just there. Recently, in January of 2016, the United States Justice Department filed a civil complaint in U.S. District Court in Detroit, Michigan, against the company. In that civil complaint, they allege what I just spoke to, that this was a purposeful, intentional act by Volkswagen to fool regulators into thinking that their diesel vehicles simply were not emitting these dangerous levels of emissions into the atmosphere. So what does this mean for Volkswagen? Well, on the civil side, the DOJ could levy upwards of $19 billion in fines. If it actually gets to that point, that's remained to be seen. But we get to that $19 billion by taking a look at the fact that for every instance of this illegal software being installed onto the vehicles, they could face a fine of $32,000, upwards of $37,000. And that comes underneath the Clean Air Act that the United States operates under. In addition to the issues with the United States, regulators in Canada, India, South Korea, and certainly in Germany are looking into Volkswagen's actions, and it's surmised that there will be action taken against the company by those individual countries as well. So the fines and repercussions here in the United States are just a small piece of what Volkswagen could face down the road from other countries as well. So how does this play into strategic planning and what we've been learning in our class? Well, number one, the first thing that jumps out at me is that Volkswagen violated a concept called ethical universalism. That concept basically states that there are ethics and values and morals throughout the globe that we should all espouse to uphold. And it doesn't matter what our culture is or where we're from or what type of development our country may be in. These are basic values that corporations need to uphold on a global scale. And certainly in today's environment, with the environmental issues that we see throughout the world, whether it's very localized smog to issues of global warming, this is an issue that has great concern for the Earth as a whole, for our entire global community. This is a major corporation that violated the trust of the world, for lack of better purposes, and was very sneaky, if you will, in doing so. So that violating ethical universalism, violating that concept, is a major issue for the corporation to get over. Now, will this be the death of Volkswagen? I would argue that it's not going to be the death of the company. It's certainly going to impact the company's market share, customer loyalty levels, as customers seek other other corporations for their business purchases or for their vehicle purchases. But in order to kind of regain where Volkswagen is today, to regain that level of popularity, if you will, Volkswagen's going to need to adhere to 4 basic tenets that Mr. Sesota put forth in his study in 2011. These tenets are based on the fact that corporations should follow these concepts in order to really prove and have a cultural change within the company to show their customers and show the world as a whole that they are socially responsible and environmentally responsible with how they go about doing their business. Number 1 is creating a higher purpose. That kind of defines itself in creating or defining a higher purpose for the company. It basically says that this company, we're not just about making money. We're not just about increasing our profit margins. We are here to make a better world outside of just our corporation itself. And so when you create that higher purpose, you develop missions, values, and goals that everybody can espouse to in order to achieve that higher purpose over time. Number 2, create and establish stakeholder orientation. In other words, every corporation has many stakeholders, whether they're employees, executives, customers, suppliers even have a stake within any given corporation. And so what stakeholder orientation upholds is the fact that we bring all these expectations from the stakeholders, put them together, and it helps us achieve that higher purpose that we set out to achieve in the first place. Secondly, conscious leadership. Conscious leadership, again, kind of defines itself, but leadership needs to provide direction so that the employees and customers of the company understand what's expected of them and where the company is going in the future and why the company is doing what they have set out to do. And lastly, creating a conscious culture. Again, when an employee goes to work at that corporation, they know that they're not just making widgets to make the company money. There is a vision and a set of values that the employee can sit down at his or her desk and say, yeah, I'm doing something that is impactful here. I'm not just going about my day-to-day work so that the company can earn money. I'm going about my day-to-day work so that the company can earn money, but at the same time, they're going to use some of their resources to better the world as a whole or their community as a whole. So if they follow those 4 basic tenets, there is one more thing that I would argue Volkswagen really needs to do in the future. That is to achieve some type of third-party certification in showing their customers that they have made a change and that there has been true tangible differences in the company from where they were prior to the scandal and where they are now. As Mr. O'Toole and Mr. Vogel point out in their 2011 study, there's an issue of, or there's not an issue, but there's a coming out of third-party organizations that will certify companies to show their customers that they have made changes. One is called B Lab, and B certified companies have made tangible efforts that show that they are going to be a socially responsible corporation or an environmentally responsible corporation that their customers can trust. So it's not just the company saying, hey, we've made these changes, we're good to go from here. It's a third party, it's a disinterested party saying, yes, that corporation has made changes and they're doing very well. So those are a couple things that Volkswagen can look towards in the future in order to kind of recover from this scandal. It's going to be a long ways to get there, but I would argue that if Volkswagen follows some of these tenets and makes some of these tangible steps forward, they can certainly recover and prove to the world that they are a changed corporation. Again, thank you for your time in reviewing this video, and I appreciate any feedback that you have to give.